All right. We'll just wait for the little stream elements pop up or whatever, the little stream bot. You're live on Twitch. It's always so helpful. All right.
Yep, I see you live on Twitch.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yay. Thanks, Ron. Perfect. Okay. All right. Is everybody ready?
Ready?
Go.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to episode... I totally just forgot the intro. Nice. How many episodes have we been doing this? Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome to episode 44 of the TCCG Roundtable. We're your hosts, DragonRider, DankestDad, and RonMexico. And today we have a very special guest, basedinc. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome to you too.
Yeah, apparently I don't even know the intro to my show that I do every single week. Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, look, here's my excuse. We're not recording on a Friday. We're recording on a Tuesday instead. Can I use that as my... That's my excuse. I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to use it.
Defensible. Yeah.
So I'm all thrown off now.
You're going to introduce like Dr. 3 or something.
I know. Well, you know what? In about 5 hours, I'll be getting a call to record Dr. 3. So, totally fair. Yeah.
It'll be great when you introduce Dr. 3 as TCCG Roundtable.
Oh my gosh.
Crossover episode. Let's go.
Actually, that would be sweet. And we should totally do that. Luckily, I don't usually do the intro on that show. So I can't screw it up if I don't do it. Right? That's the logic. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We are I think gonna start with a little mini interview with Based. Based has been on the show before, but it's been quite a while. I don't even remember when it was that we had you on before, Based. But I'm going to kick it over to our newest host, Dankest, first to see if Dankest wants to ask any specific questions or find out anything about you.
So, I know that you've been here before. So some of our viewers and hosts have probably heard what games you played and what got you into cards, just in general. But what are you playing right now? What's going on in your life? How have things been since you've been here last?
Things are busy, but in the games I've been getting into Pokemon. Playing a bunch of Pokemon TCG. Finally, that was the game that got me into collecting cards. But now I've been playing it and still play Hearthstone, but that's the main one. Just having a good time with that, and especially they're also going into rotation, which is the perfect time to start a game, I feel like. So yeah.
Very nice. And given Pokemon, it's a good segue. It is Pokemon Day. So who's your favorite Pokemon?
It is Porygon 2.
Mm.
My all-time favorite.
The absolute GOAT, the greatest tank there ever was.
Yeah.
So, other than that, what we talked about this a bit on our last show, but our non-card and non-strategy game hobbies. So, what are those for you?
I like to disc golf.
Nice.
And then do just board games count?
Yeah.
As different than those other things, because that's the other one. That and let's see. I think that's the big one. I mean, disc golfing is the nice get outdoors and enjoy another game, but combined with walking through a park or as a hike.
Nice.
Hike to a table and set up a board game and play the board game in a park.
I always have a pocket board game in my backpack.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is what. Sorry, I just. My brain works in the weirdest ways. I was thinking like, yes, you could even pack a picnic and like go play a board game. And then you started saying, I always have something in my pocket. And I was like, what kind of food do you just like carry around in your pocket? And then you said board game. And I was like, oh, that probably makes a little more
I do
sense.
also always have food in my pocket, but you know.
I just imagine you carrying like a peanut butter jelly sandwich around in your pocket. I was like, I don't know if that's like the best idea, but you know, I'm not gonna
Hey, it's
judge
good to
if
be
you
prepared.
do.
You know.
That's true. That's true.
I keep candy in all my pockets, so that is true.
Nice.
Candy's a good one.
What about tots?
No, they get all squished, you know, when your classmate kicks you.
It's true.
Love our early 2000s references to movies. It's great.
Yeah. All right. And then one more question from me for all the marbles. So you're getting into Pokemon. Is there a game that you don't play right now that you would want to get into or seems interesting?
Based on no mechanics and just because this is one of the other shows I watch and how buck wild it is, Digimon.
Rad. Vibes only, Digimon passes.
The evolution path of pig to cat creature to hot angel. Sign me up. How
That
did we get
is
there? Don't know.
impressive. Yeah. Just say, is it only 3 steps, or are there more
Do you
steps
believe?
involved?
Actually, it might even be less steps. I'm gonna have to look that specific one up.
Less steps.
Peak character design.
It's actually just pig to hot angel. Just boom.
I know that we get to hot angel, and I'm pretty sure it was from the pig one. It's been a while.
That's amazing.
Cool. Well, Ron, Don, do you guys have any questions?
I did have one question. It relates a little bit to what we were talking about before the show, but I want to hear the on-record answer for Based. And you know me, it's going to be a Hearthstone question, but Based, I got to know, what is your favorite Hearthstone expansion ever and why?
Ooh, damn.
I didn't want to give you any prep time for it.
Hardest question. Boom.
Yes, it is the hardest question. I like just bam, here you go on the spot, all 10 years, come up with the answer right now with no prep. We treat our guests nicely.
I think Ungoro is like my favorite, but the release of League of Explorers is just because that one it came out like the next day, right?
Yeah, top tier. They just hey, you guys, we're doing this new expansion. Also, you can play it now. Yeah, no, that was nuts.
Unrivaled launch of an expansion, but I'm gonna go with Ungoro for like the whole time. Ungoro was just a great time.
I love it. I mean, that's my number one answer too. It also happens to be my favorite expansion ever is Ungoro. So I have no arguments here. Excellent choice.
All right. I've got one question here, which is, how many card games have you played?
How much do I have to have played it to count it?
Let's say any amount. If you can remember that many.
Okay, I just should count them out loud because this is really riveting me counting in my head. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Hearthstone, Eternal, Soulforge, Fusion, Magic. Does MTG Arena count as a separate one?
I'd say no.
Probably not, but
there was that one crypto, like one that turned crypto that the guys from Grinning Goat the Arena podcast were like really pushing, and I can't
Was it
remember what it was called.
Parallel, Skyweavers?
No. I can't remember it. Let's see. Another
Maybe
one.
it doesn't count if you can't remember the name.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't play that one for very long. There was this one, Opharia. And then there was this one game that like was very similar to Hearthstone that got me back into card games. That was on the phone for a while. That was really good. Ascension, the deck builder one, played that a ton. And then I can't even start on board games. I don't know if Ascension counts then.
We'll give you 8.
Yeah,
Eight's a good
yeah,
number.
we'll give you. Yeah, you got at least a few of like the big ones in there. So
Got all the big ones, I think.
I mean,
Oh, the big three is, I mean, Hearthstone arguably would be the fourth, the big, but Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic are the biggest, I think.
Yep. And if the disc golfing answer wasn't enough indication, this is how you know Base is different from the rest of us, because she has time to go outside, and our numbers might be redacted for that reason.
Oh no!
Wait, did you play any Marvel Snap too? That could be.
Hell no! I knew that was going to be a bad decision on my part for both my time and possibly wallet. I said
Solid choice.
no. Never even download the app.
I mean, kudos to you for actually like thinking that far. My brain is just like, new card game, I don't care. and then
Nice.
afterwards I'm like, oh, do I want to keep doing this? Should I buy more cards? It's not good. So totally fair. Well, is there any other questions that anybody has for Based before we move on? No? All right. Well, thank you for doing that little mini interview. Appreciate it. And welcome back. So the little bit of news that I will say, we did dive quite a bit last week into a ton of news pieces. We are kind of in that release season, I'll say, where a lot of the card games are doing releases of cards or like new things are coming out. We talked about March 8th. What is that? In like a week and a half from now is just like a massive like card game weekend for so many different games. So if you do want to hear a ton of that news, go ahead and go back and listen to last week's episode, which was episode 43, and check that out. And because of that, there's also not a ton of like competitive stuff going on. So,
Well,
you know, that's kind of where we're at, I guess, in terms of like the time frame of games for or card games, right? We're in that release season. So,
well, we do have one item though for non-competitive. Kind of
okay.
an update on Pokemon, kind of a new game. But in the Pokemon Presents today, they did announce a new client for Pokemon TCG exclusive to mobile with streamlined rules, and it looked like they had some pretty cool art as well. Like they were showing off something where you don't just have a full art card, but you can just click and like actually go into and explore the card art, and kind of a different way to experience Pokemon TCG, which is interesting considering that Pokemon TCG Live is already available on mobile, but it seems like they're going with a new developer and trying to put a new spin on it for the mobile market. So might be something new to look forward to. Release date is later this year to be announced.
Yeah, I did see that as well, and it's kind of like what did they say in the thing today? It was the world's like first look at it. So this is when they really announced it, right? So it wasn't necessarily like a ton of complete info on, you know, how I guess developed it's going to be. They really showcased a lot in that little like kind of trailer for it. You it is made for mobile, so it's very like you swipe your finger across, right, to like cut open a pack and bust open a pack. They showed that you'll be able to play quick games, but I mean, we don't know anything that means, right? Is it going to be like faster games in terms of, will they have just the same kind of game, but maybe less prizes that you're going for just to make it quicker, or timers? I don't know how they're, what they're kind of defining as quicker games. But for me, when I saw that, like, it seemed like it was more focused on just kind of like collecting the cards and making the cards look really cool. So I don't know what else they're going to have beyond that. Are they going to have like a ranked thing? Is this mobile going to try to be replacing the TCG Live, or is it going to be, who knows? We don't know anything. That they just revealed a little bit of basically like the cosmetic kind of stuff, and they were like, "This is coming at some point this year."
Yeah.
So
I think the only other feature they announced is that you get 2 free packs a day, for what that's worth. If you like cracking Pokemon packs and seeing the art, well, there you go. You've got your fix. So I know personally, I'll be looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot more people than the usual card game crowd will be giving it a try. So yeah, could be something big on the horizon.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It did look like they had a smaller bench is the first thing I saw when they did it. So you can't even have as many Pokemon out. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to make it so it's much more mobile friendly. I do not think it's going to replace TCG Live, because it looks like it is going to be entirely separate of the actual physical game. It does not look like they are repeating cards, and they're all going to be unique to that app.
That's interesting.
Because nothing I saw was, anything I recognized. So I think it'll be all new.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. That did kind of feel like that's the direction they're trying to go, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Definitely, as Dank has said, I think there definitely is a bigger, more vast audience that can be reached through the mobile platform. So, and if it is focused on just like collecting the cards and looking at art and stuff, then yeah, maybe that will just attract more people who don't even typically play card games. But as someone who loves card games, I'm also curious, like, what else are they going to do? Because, like, I don't really want to play it if it's just like, here, open some packs and then, like, play against a random person maybe, and that's it. Like, okay.
Well, yeah. In either case, though, I'm happy it exists, because things like that have that positive externality. Because if you have people who are opening these beautiful digital cards every day, maybe getting to try them out, and they want the real thing, well, that's another 1 to 2 people at your local, maybe. And you might just be able to fire an event that you couldn't before. So, even if you, on the competitive, more dedicated side, don't engage with this, it's probably going to make your experience better in the long run, just by virtue of it existing. So I think all ships rise.
I should say also, it's probably not going to have any sort of ladder, because Pokemon TCG Live does not have an actual ranking system 2 years after its release. So I doubt this one will.
Has it really been 2 years? Wow.
It is. Yeah. They just added a battle log this most recent last week. So now you can actually see what they did if you looked away from your phone or your computer.
Wait, I totally thought it did have a ranked.
It has like a great ball tier and stuff, but you have no idea how you stack up. There's no one who can ever confidently say they are number 1 ranked in TCG Live, because there's
no leaderboards or like thing to separate players. Yeah.
I was going to say, bold of you to assume that I would even read the battle log in the first place, but it's probably a good addition.
Did you know Hearthstone has one too?
What? Since when?
Can you export
no
it?
shot. I like to play my turn and then completely just zone out until my turn starts again. And it's just like a brand new board state every time. No idea what happened, and then we just reset.
Yep. It's like a game.
That's not how you guys play?
Like peekaboo, no object permanence. You're just like, oh, what's this here? It's another puzzle. And it's
fun.
I
heard it was a children's card game, so I thought I should behave as much like a child as I possibly could, and that includes 0 object permanence. It's how I play my card games.
I mean, honestly, that's probably how I played cards when I was a kid, right? Like, I'm just gonna play this card. I remember when I was learning Magic at like 8 years old, I did not really understand fully all of the interactions and that stuff. But I remember, this is probably gonna age me. Why do we keep doing these things every week? Just keep getting aged. The giant spider, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this card. Because it's a green thing and it's a spider. And like, I didn't really,
I see no downsides.
I played cards based on the art, and like Pokemon, I don't know. I was like, they match the energy. I feel like maybe I was better than I think, but yeah, you can play like that. Why not?
Yeah.
I like this Pokemon. I'm going to play it in my deck.
Yeah.
I don't know what it does, but it's on the board now. I don't care.
9-year-old
Valid
DankestDad.
strategy.
Yeah, 9-year-old DankestDad's like big rush was flipping my man-eater bug after going first in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I kill their guy, and then I sacrifice it and make a summon skull. Most powerful feeling in card games. Nothing comes close.
Sucker, it's your armor. Got him.
It's true.
I've
been got.
Yeah, the art for the game does look very good, though.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff. So we'll have to keep an eye out. And with some of these games and companies, they just say like 2024. So we have no idea when that's going to be. Like, it could be June. It could be like December, 24th or something. Well, it'd probably be slightly before if they're trying to get it out for the holiday season. But like, we have no idea. It could be any time. So we'll see what's going to be in store for that, and of course keep everybody updated when there is more news on that. But yeah, that was announced today. I think the only other piece of like news is not necessarily like specific large card game news, but like personal news. But my card reveal video did release today, so yeah, that was exciting.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
And Dankest initiated like a watch party in our AFG Discord for that. So I saw that and it was like, whoa, that's awesome. I love it. So that made me very happy. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun to watch too. And, like, it's cool. Like, I really do like the sort of theory crafting aspect with the cards and talking about how and why they work. I think that, that makes for a good review. And, I think that the two routes that you can go are either thoughtful and really talking about the cards, or you go for some crazy over the top meme or animation with like cosplay or something like what Raunchy does. And, I think that you went well on the thoughtful side, while touching a little bit on the fun side with a 2D Dragon Rider. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to watch the video. But yeah, I enjoyed it a ton.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought about doing something more fun, or at least like a little bit, like maybe I'll make some like references to, popular movies and all that. And then I was like, but that's like not the style of content that I normally do. Normally I am like the more analytical. I like to, teach concepts and that kind of stuff and do that kind of theory crafting and analyzing. So then I decided, I'll just stick with like the kind of stuff that I already do and just do that instead of trying to make my first card reveal also something that like I've never done before. And I was like, no, I don't want to add too much to my to my plate.
I was also a fan of Dragon Rider 2D.
Thanks.
It was a good video.
I love that art. I did get that piece, and there's another one. She doesn't have the clipboard and stuff, but she's like in a thinking pose. I got those commissioned, And my goodness, I love that artist. She also commissioned me some Soulforge Fusion token custom arts.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, I'm very excited to hopefully be like actually making, or get those printed and give those out. But yeah, she is amazing. Echo of Justice on Twitter or most places that you can probably find her. Yeah, she like did my eyebrow piercing on it and everything. I was like, oh my gosh! And then she put the like classic Hearthstone card back on the back of the clipboard. I was like, this is so great.
Nice.
So, yeah, now I can use that for content going forward. And I figured the card reveal was a great first step for that. All right. Well, we ready to dive into our main topic for this week?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to talk about Star Wars Unlimited because this week is the pre-release events. The game officially launches next week on March 8th, right? So there's a ton of stuff happening that day. But the pre-releases start this weekend. And actually, Based and I will be doing some pre-release events this coming weekend. So, Based, I'm curious, how much do you know so far about Star Wars Unlimited?
So you get a commander in a base, and the goal is to kill their base. How your commander's involved, not exactly sure. And then you tap resources, which are just cards you commit to never being able to play from your hand. The guide was like, you should probably commit one resource at every opportunity. So I'm hoping that my opponents don't do that at the pre-release and just are, like, oh, I wanted to play this card. So it looks like it's, and also I think you get to direct your attacks. So you can go face, take down that base, go face. But there's something about initiative that I glossed over. So it'll be fun. The shop said that they're going to have some like internal play testing, and I'm going to be going there tonight to play Pokemon. So I might ask and see their thoughts and maybe get them to show me a demo tonight.
Nice.
So base equals face?
Base equals face.
You go
Things never
base.
change.
Yes.
Go face.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess yeah, to compare it to other card games, this is the way that I'm going to kind of describe it, is it plays, the resource system is like Lorcana, where you're using a resource from your hand, you put it face down, and then that just becomes your like land and magic, right? You're tapping it to use resource, just like Lorcana. But it has the like hero and your base, and you get to direct attacks, as Base said, just like Hearthstone, just like a couple other card games. And it has the, I don't necessarily want to say like mixing of colors like Magic does, but a bit kind of like that as well. So you can kind of play the different colors, the different styles of cards and all of that together in the deck. And then the play of each turn is kind of like how Legends of Runeterra plays, where basically one person has the initiative, and then it goes back and forth. You and your opponent playing until both of you pass or are done playing stuff. And then that's it. So that's how I'm describing it. So let's take a look here at the overview. It does say each player takes a role of a leader. So the starter decks have the probably two most iconic, which are going to be Vader and Luke Skywalker.
Who?
Yep. Huh?
Who?
Who? I don't know.
I don't know any Star Wars things.
He just died at the end, or he dies at the end, right? I don't know.
He dies at some
Oh,
point in the movies that I pretend don't exist. But yeah,
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops,
Same.
indeed.
Are we allowed to talk about Star Wars spoilers? Is that okay at this point?
I mean, there's
Probably,
there's
yeah.
probably not
Probably. It's fine, I think. Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't gone out and seen Star Wars by now, you're probably not going to be that upset hearing spoilers for Star Wars in,
That's
a card game podcast.
Yeah,
nice
if you're a native German
Yeah.
speaker who hasn't seen
Yeah.
Star Wars, I'm so sorry for you right now.
Unlucky.
You ruined it.
Was that a yes for me? Because
Yeah, go for
yeah,
it.
so Emperor Palpatine fucks? What?
what?
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, right?
Sorry, fuck that ring.
Apparently had children.
Because
Yeah.
she's not
Yes.
old as fuck. So he looked gross.
Mm.
I mean,
During, anyways,
Well,
hey,
I mean,
Oh my
in a
gosh.
general sense, if we go down that line of
he was hot
thought,
in episode 2, but come
I don't think his level of attractiveness had any bearing on his ability to procreate with
I mean,
someone.
maybe-
Hey, do this or you die is probably how he got most things accomplished, and I assume it would factor into that decision as well.
I mean, there's always the
just
IVF,
saying.
there's always cloning. You never know.
on.
And maybe, Ian McDiarmid's got that charm. I don't know. I'm convinced. It could work.
I mean, he didn't seem like the kind of guy that would be like, "Oh, did you say no? Oh, I guess I'll respect that decision." You know
I'm
what I
pretty
mean?
sure he says that to Anakin
Yikes.
verbatim, doesn't he? No, that's
I fully believe the reason was that he decided that the universe needed more characters. So he was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this so that we can have more characters."
J.J. Abrams.
yeah, it's his fault. That's why we're talking about this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a wonderful. That's gonna become a clip. That was fantastic. Okay. So basically the start of the game, you're going to put your base into play. So far with the first set, the bases, there's like a few different bases for each color. The base, shouldn't say that. The common bases, I was gonna say the like base or basic bases, but that's no. The common ones they don't have any special abilities, but they essentially start you at 30 health. The better, more epic, more rare style of bases have an actionable ability, and they start you at 25 health. So that's kind of really the only difference. It's like you start at a little bit less health, but you have something that your base can actually do. And then you're going to have your leader, and the leaders are double-sided. They will start in the non-unit side, where they will just have like an ability to use. And then each of the leaders has like an epic action that once you hit a certain requirement, then that character will flip to the other side and will actually be like a unit on your board that you can use to attack with. And then at the start of the game, you're going to shuffle your deck, draw 6 cards, and you basically get a full hand one-time mulligan. So shuffle your hand, and if you want to take a mulligan, you put all 6 cards back in the deck, reshuffle, and draw 6 new cards. And if it sucks, well, that sucks, because you're just stuck with that. So that's it. So kind of an interesting, I guess, like half of Magic, because like in Magic you can kind of mulligan down and start losing cards, but this is just like nope, you just get one full hand mulligan. No selecting specific cards, no options to redo. And then this is kind of interesting, though. At the very start of the game, that 6-card hand that you have to put 2 of those as your kind of initial resources. So both players will actually start the game with 2 resources automatically. And then throughout your turns, you'll be able to play 1 into your resource pile every turn. So that's kind of a different variation than a lot of other card games, where you have to either like you start at 1 and build up, or you kind of have to draw and play them. So you get those 2 automatically. I think it's going to be cool. Helps jumpstart the game a little bit more and just kind of speed it up, because usually there's not a lot going on in the first couple of turns of card games anyways. So it just kind of like gets you to the point of like, okay, we're just like skipping the, first 2 turns of doing nothing. So here's some examples of a base that doesn't have any sort of ability. It's got the 30 health, and then that Luke Skywalker card has an action, and then the epic action requires you to have 6 or more resources, and then you get to flip it at that point.
Cool.
This is fascinating. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions, and this is my first time seeing these rules or learning anything about the game, and I'm so down. This was a mistake in a good way.
Are you reconsidering the going to a pre-release this weekend?
No, I can't. Central
No.
Ohio is also down. The pre-release at my local game store, I don't know if the cap is 16 or 32, but it is certainly full. And
Really?
yeah, I've
Oh my
pre-ordered
gosh.
products. I've got a couple booster boxes and a starter kit coming my way, but I am not going by choice. I am not going because I can't. And this is going to be an awesome game. People love Star Wars, and I'm excited to get to play it. It just will unfortunately not be this Friday. I'm going to go see Dune instead. I'll have a good time, but I'll
There
be
you
playing
go.
this a lot this year. Mark my words.
Oh, you guys know about Star Wars
That's-
too? Oh, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, you've
I
heard of
thought I
that?
was the only one who liked Star Wars.
Okay, Ron, have you looked at this at all before? We might have
No.
looked at it, but I don't remember
no,
if we did or not.
Yeah, brand new to me as far as like all this information, so I'm just taking it in.
Okay, and then based, how much have you like looked at all of this?
Past this, nada.
Okay. Okay.
This is new to me.
Perfect.
And like, because it takes an action until both players pass. Can we just take initiative from each other nonstop and never end a turn? Like,
No. So
You
yeah,
run out of
here,
cards, right?
No.
yeah. So I think what you're asking is in relation to what we see on the screen here, which is the actions available to a player during a turn. You can play a card, you can attack with a unit, you can use an action ability, you can take the initiative, or you can pass. So with this, what it is essentially if you take the initiative token, then that is the last possible thing you can do on your turn. Like if you take the initiative token, it ends any further actions you would take. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to take the initiative and now I get to do something and then like your opponent can take it back. It just means that once your opponent gets to the point of passing or not being able to do anything, then on the next round, you get initiative first.
okay, so it's like I finished all my things first. I now get to go first next round.
Yes.
Move. Okay, because I was like, if you could just like take the initiative to like set up for next round, and then they're like, well, no, actually, I need to end with the initiative, and you just battle it back and forth until you run out of willpower.
Yes, and
I
only
see what you're
one
saying.
person
That would be
can.
hilarious.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
that. Well,
fine.
gosh,
My kids are
that would
hungry.
be
Pass.
what game?
Fine.
I
You
was
can
gonna-
have the initiative every turn.
So this is Artifact. This is what Artifact boiled down to and was my favorite part of that game. I've said before, I have famously bad taste. And this whole taking the initiative sort of mini game is amazing. It plays out very, very well. And it leads to a lot of scenarios where taking the first action is so important that you need to give up advantage or give up efficiency now just so that you have the agency to act at a crucial point in the game. And I'm really excited that Star Wars Unlimited has a feature like this, just because card design independent, just having that level of interactivity just baked into the mechanics is very, very fun and will make games memorable.
Yeah. And I guess I hadn't really necessarily played with like an initiative type thing until I played Legends of Runeterra. But it does feel like, at least for me, it felt very intuitive. And it did kind of make it feel like, oh, okay, like I can change my strategy based on am I starting or, what's kind of happening. And so, yeah, it'll be really interesting to do that for a physical game. I haven't done something like that, but only one player per turn can take that initiative token. So it's not like if you take it, your opponent can't like say, oh, well, now I'm going to take the initiative token and steal it back. It's only one player per turn. So, and then, of course, the cost in the upper corner to play a card, that's pretty standard. You reveal it, pay the cost, and tap or exhaust your resources. And I think they're just calling it resources in this. I know some games like call it mana or you have land or energy. I think they're just straight up calling it resources. So
I think they'd call it like credits or something like Star Warsy, but sure, whatever. Resources.
I haven't seen that anywhere. I've only seen it just called resources.
Younglings. That's an incredible idea. We're all Anakin in this one. We're just okay, I'm gonna kill 2 younglings on this turn and play this card.
You got to get your power somewhere. Darth Vader is the example that we're gonna base the whole game off of. I'm gonna say that at the pre-release and see what people say to me.
I play 3 younglings and sacrifice 2.
Kill 3
right.
younglings.
If you say that during the pre-release, I hope that I'm sitting at a different table and I will act like I don't know you. I'm sorry.
That's incredible.
I don't know her. I'm sorry. Just ignore that.
It's not a big shock, Tom.
We got the Padme commander. Shuffle a sadness into your deck. If you draw it, you lose. Come on, do it.
Oh my
gosh.
Now,
since you're going to a pre-release, you should try to work in as many references or quotes from movies as you possibly can at every opportunity to make people as annoyed at you as possible.
This is the way.
Now this is pod race.
I'm gonna do the Klingon. No, not Klingon.
Actually, that's
too Klingon.
That would have been better. Holy shit, that is so much better to just constantly act like you think it's Star Trek the whole time and do like nonstop Star Trek references. That actually is the most amazingly perfect antagonistic play.
Is Q a card?
Through the entire pre-release. Oh my god!
You guys heard it here
make
first.
So many enemies.
It's
incredible.
Be antagonistic at pre-release, especially with people new to the hobby. That's right. This is
wow.
When are they going to print the Picard card that I can play? I haven't drawn Captain Kirk yet. Is Spock showing up?
Patrick Stewart in this deck? I do think it's a better franchise, personally, anyways. So I'm down to pretend that it's all Star Trek.
You know what? You really
tell
need
everybody
to,
to live long and prosper.
Yeah.
You need to wear that T-shirt that says, "Oh my gosh, what's the quote?" Oh, it says, "Wait, does that actually?" No, it says, "Use the Force," as the quote, and then it says, "Harry, use the Force, Harry."
Use the Force, Harry.
Nice.
And it's quoted by Captain Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has something else on it. I probably still mess that up. But yeah, it's like 4 different things all
I
in
get
one.
the concept
and
for sure. I love it.
Oh my god. Just wear that shirt and then just say completely wrong things. Oh, it'll be fine. Nobody will know, right? Nobody will know.
I play Gandalf. Sorry.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with card games, you know Ready and Exhausted. Ready is just like, basically standing up. It's upright. It's ready to use. Exhausted is essentially tapped. Units will enter play exhausted, so that is how you know that you can't use their actions or can't attack with them that turn. It's the same thing as like summoning sickness or, rezzing sickness in other games. But they enter exhausted so that you can't accidentally confuse them. There are, I guess, also the other biggest thing I would say for this game is that instead of playing all of your units just onto the same space on the board and just having like one large board, like maybe Magic does, there is a difference between ground units and air units that you will actually split them onto each side of the board. And I guess the comparison would kind of be like flying in Magic to ground units, but you would play them. Here's kind of an example on the screen. So your base and your hero will start in the middle of the board, and then one side will be for your ground units, the other side will be for your space and air units. So only units on that same side of the board can attack units from that same side. So only ground units can attack other units on the ground side. Only space units can attack units on the space side.
Like Raging
And
River.
presumably, like most games,
Yeah,
there'll
it is.
probably be a card that can attack ground as a space unit or vice versa or something.
Yeah. There are special cards or special situations, and then either one of these, because you get to choose and direct where your attacks go, you can have a ground or a space unit attack like your opponent's base. So, again, the like starting health on the base, like the 30, is what you're trying to get to 0 on your opponent's side. So that's where it's kind of like Hearthstone. It's not like lanes where they get to block or defend. You just get to say, okay, my ground unit is attacking your base. And then at that point, they will have the option to choose how they're going to defend or potentially block that. But they don't get to choose where you attack.
Gotcha.
Bam. Migo base.
So
That's all right.
we have a game where you have a hero that starts on the board. You have 2 lanes, essentially, and you have initiative. Oh boy. This is scratching the itch. I'm so ready.
we're getting Dankest excited here. Okay, and then there are the different aspect icons. So these will be helpful if you're looking for, certain cards have to interact only with certain aspects. Those are like essentially the colors for the Star Wars game. And there are traits, attack and health, essentially. I mean, that's pretty standard as well, card-wise. We'll just say the attacking, it must be ready, so it can't be exhausted. There are, again, some like characters that they may not exhaust or things like that, or they may come into play readied. But typically, the way to attack is you will exhaust the attacker and you're choosing what to attack. So you can, as I said, you can pick an enemy in the same area, ground or space, or you can attack the base directly. And if there is an enemy unit in the same area, then it can, your opponent will be able to pick here. It does say if an enemy unit in the same arena as the attacker has Sentinel, it must be chosen as the defender. So that's kind of like taunt.
Sentinel's
Yeah,
cheat.
that's taunt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got
Sentinel is cheat.
Base is the place and Sentinel is cheat. All right, got it. New memes acquired.
So that's actually super interesting because I know that I alluded before that some of us have very high card game numbers.
Yes.
And of that huge number of card games, the number of them where you actually choose what target that you're hitting is not high.
Yeah.
And I know Hearthstone, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had this in the past, of course. I think they're probably the first game, but Hearthstone kind of made a name for itself having this sort of piece of, being able to choose your attackers so that you can play out your turn. And this is something too that means that this game could translate to a digital future pretty successfully if the developers choose to take that route. So really, really interesting to see that here.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. And I think that's kind of why I described it as like a mix of the resource system from Lorcana mixed with like attacking system from Hearthstone mixed with the turn-based of Runeterra. Because it's like kind of that's kind of really how it plays. And also with that, with being able to attack, it's also not just like one single attack phase like you have in Magic or even in Runeterra. You can attack, with one unit and then do another action. You can attack with a separate unit. So that's more like Hearthstone as well, which is great, I think. So here is kind of an example. You have your ground unit hitting the base for 3 damage. Or if it's 2 units, they will trade their attack at the same time and deal that damage. And also very much like, I would say, like Hearthstone or Legends of Runeterra, the damage stays. It is not reset at the end of a turn or anything like it is in Magic. You can use action abilities.
Hence the damage tokens that we saw earlier that you would just place like on the card, I assume.
Yeah. So there will be like some damage tokens in for the pre-release. Everybody will be getting like a starter kit essentially that will have the Vader and Luke Skywalker heroes and 6 packs and like some tokens. So they'll have those, but you could just like any other like card game or board games, you can use other tokens, or you could use dice or any way to track that.
This game looks very well set up to translate to digital.
Definitely, yeah. I don't know if they will, but
yeah, I mean they could if they wanted to, and I was the one who brought that up, so I didn't mean to imply that that's the plan or anything like that, but
yeah,
it's just good to have the option, right? Like it seems like it would just very easily translate over. Whether or not they do that, totally up to them, but it's always probably better to have the door open than not.
Yes, and like other Magic, even though there is digital, and Universes, another game I play, I think really struggle with the digital transition just because of how many different windows there is for an opponent to respond and interact, and that constant back and forth works really well at a table, but programming that and making it bug-free and seamless is really, really hard and not an easy challenge for any developer. So having something like this where the actions are discrete, taken back and forth accordingly, and they have that sort of setup where, determining attacking means that's one more swap of priority or swap of decision making you need to make in a given turn. It just works nicely and makes for a game too that is also a little bit more accessible, just because for players new to the hobby especially, it's really difficult to learn all of those timings and get that nuance down. And I think Based here can actually probably speak to it a bit better than any of us, but understanding spell speeds in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is something that I'm still not super comfortable with, and I've been playing lots of card games forever my whole life, and Star Wars not having something like that is, I think, a bit of a pro in terms of getting people invested.
How much do you know about mistiming on mandatory effects, because it happened during a different effect, and so now you don't get it because it's you missed it. It's gone.
Yep. I know that it exists, and I'm horrified by it.
Yeah, it's truly something fascinating, because if an effect goes off during a chain that is a must trigger, in certain cases I believe it's just gone because the must didn't happen when it must, and so it lost. Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh's got the most archaic rules, and like going through this, it seems very, very straightforward. Trading is obviously going to be very important. I mean, how much longer is your turn if you have all your characters dead?
Mhm.
Oh shoot, you only got to attack with 1? I'm going to attack with 5. Good round. Good round.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face is really not the place in this game, is what it looks like. Especially,
Probably not. Yeah.
we'll see how fast you can recover resources. And by resources, because again, terrible system to name it. That's what you call the things in your hand as well. In most places.
Yeah, no idea why they didn't go with your
Yeah.
idea of younglings base.
I said midichlorians the first time. That one was like an actual
that-
one. The credits is really good too.
Well, what if your commander
Yeah.
is not a force user? Oh, so difficult.
That's true.
I
I'll
guess
never
we're gonna
not be bothered by the concept of midichlorians. I just gotta say that.
They just like
It'll
threw it
always
out
bother
there.
me.
I don't
have,
understand it.
they're the powerhouse of the force, isn't it?
Kyber crystals.
God damn
You
it.
could be building lightsabers with these.
You could, yeah.
But yeah, they could have chosen so many better things. Calling it resources is gonna get confusing.
Maybe they'll
just
change it.
Yeah.
I hope
Just say
so.
card. Just say card advantage. It's a more specific term, anyways, right?
Just say mana.
No, oh no.
Just call it mana or lands, just for fun.
The spice. Just go different sci-fi.
Every turn, just call it something else. All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tap 2 lands, and then the next turn say I'm gonna spend 3 energy. I'm just just use them all. Just rotate while you're applying your Gandalfs and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Energy would have been great. Energy's so useful
Yeah,
as a
actually,
term
Mhm.
for that. It fits like the Star Wars theme in so many ways too. Well, enough critiquing their use of terminology.
I like it. Whatever.
It's fine.
Yep.
Normal summon. There we go. Perfect.
Yes. Well, then, real quick, here's just an example of the Luke Skywalker leader. So, as I mentioned earlier, it kind of starts at like its base level. Then it has an action that you can take. You can spend 1 resource, 1 mana, 1 energy, and tap it to give a shield token to a very specific unit played that phase. And then again, that epic action, each leader will have an epic action. It's basically a requirement you need to reach. And once you hit that threshold, whatever the requirement is, you'll get to flip the card over and have it as its actual like attack unit style body. So it will flip right side up, and you'll be able to place it in whichever side. It'll immediately like go out onto the board for you, and you'll be able to have your actual unit out there for attacking.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when your leader's defeated? Or killed, or whatever the terminology is?
Let me see. I was like, I'm not sure if it says in this quick rules.
It seems like the game just keeps going.
Well, it does say there it is. If your leader is defeated, return it. So you still get the action back, but then you can't take the epic action again. That's interesting.
So they have
Is that-
plot armor, is what I'm getting from this.
Mhm.
Cannot die.
Yeah, but you don't get it a second time like out on the board as a unit. So
Yeah, it's not like
They enter into
There's a little
combat,
bit
get
of trade-off.
defeated, and then they
just costs
retreat.
more
and
dice.
then they lay on the ground wounded using their
Yeah.
first action.
They
Yeah.
get shot at by stormtroopers for the rest of the time and clearly don't get hit.
just got to
Pretty
say
much.
one more time. I know we focused a lot on the resources terminology, but it just made me think how hilarious of an opportunity it was if they called it younglings, that you could have Anakin and then it would cost 6 younglings and then you would summon Darth Vader. Like it's
Mhm.
so perfect.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's actually really surprising. So, like, I know like this is a more modern card game, but a lot of games try to bake in inevitability so that games end, which
Mhm.
is not a bad thing. And having the leader not be something that's recurring and only once per game is, I think, really bold and puts a lot of strategy on it. So, I'm interested to see how that choice plays out. Like I think it's a lot more. It's a lot less of a given than I think it might seem from just the first read of the rules. So I'm definitely curious about that.
Like, you don't just get to 6 and then it's like, okay, he's coming down.
Right, exactly. Or, like comes down exhausted, you have to ready it next turn or something. Like every other turn, you can keep this coming until you win.
Right.
Like that would seem to me what would be a more intuitive choice. And, the designers clearly chose to go a different route, which, makes me want to see what else they have in store and how, games do end, because I am sure that they have an answer based on how much they've put into this. But, just from reading the starter rules, it's not inherently baked into the mechanics, which means that over the life of the game, games are going to end differently. It's not just going to be a contest of whose leader ends things the quickest. Once they've managed to stabilize the game, we're going to see a lot of win conditions, so things will feel fresh. That would just be at least my guess from this. But once again, that's a lot of experience and bias trying to extrapolate. I don't know for sure, but I'm just taking my best guess.
I can definitely see that. And I think the fact here too, the running out of cards in your deck, potentially there's always that strategy of like, is there a way to try to like mill your opponent's deck or do something like that, or like have a super long game so your opponent just runs out of cards? There's always that type of mechanic, I think, in card games. So the way that it will work in Star Wars Unlimited is that if you run out of cards, you keep playing, and each time that you would draw a card, you take 3 damage to your base instead. So it's not like a increasing fatigue type damage like Hearthstone has. It's just a straight, like, if I would draw a card, I deal 3. If I would draw 2 cards, I take 6. And so that potentially, if that happens, that could end the game very, very quickly.
Notably, though, not scaling either. So
right, yeah.
So if you do have a unit,
go ahead. Sorry.
It was just 3 per card, basically.
Yep, exactly.
So if you have a unit with restore, you might be able to win that long game or stall out. Like there could be a scenario where both players have a restore unit, but I'm guessing that's rare. I don't think we'll see that, will we? Probably not.
Probably not. I was curious, did it say if you have a maximum hand size? Could you have like unlimited cards in your hand, or is there a limit? I don't remember noticing it.
It might be in the regroup step section. That looked like it was kind of the end phase or coming up. But
so you get to choose when to deploy your leader after you've hit the mana threshold, the resource threshold, right?
When you hit that, your leader deploys immediately when that happens. So yeah,
Well,
there will be strategy of like when.
Yeah, but it's
so
an action.
When you want to use that.
Because it's an action, not something that happens automatically, right?
No, it sounds like as soon as you hit
I'm pretty
that
sure
resource,
it's automatic.
It pops out. So like you might sit at 5 resources for turns because you're
That's
like,
fascinating.
Not yet.
Ah.
You know?
Right.
So that's interesting.
Yes. So
It's very unlikely that early strategy would be to wait, but like
I guess
as
let's
meta
see.
develops.
Okay. I'm going to guess because of one word that you choose when to use it. Once you have enough resources, you may use this action to deploy your leader.
Yep. Okay.
Flip it to its unit side. Okay, so
Yeah, but there still will be.
it
the
doesn't cost
tension,
any resources.
right? Of when do you pop it? Because it is that once
Right.
per game.
Yeah.
Big advantage.
Yep. I don't see anything about a hand size.
The Pokemon route.
So-
No hand size.
Yeah. Again, we looked at the quick start rules. There might be something else, but I would imagine they would have mentioned something in quick start about hand size. But I guess just to quickly wrap up, I'll say the interesting thing is for the pre-release weekend this weekend. Again, I mentioned everyone will get like a specific pre-release like starter kit, so you'll have the Vader and Luke heroes, and you'll have 6-packs and some tokens. Now, the way it's going to work is everybody will open their 6-packs, and then you'll build a deck from whatever you open. You can use the Luke or the Vader heroes, or any of the heroes that you open, and then like any bases.
Yeah, it said the rest is a sideboard.
So, yep. So
I never. What is the aspect like limitation? Can I just build a deck with whatever?
No, it says here that it looks like cards cost extra if they aren't matching your leader.
Ah, okay.
yes. So like you can
Your
play
leader
whatever
Does
you
your
want.
base get to factor in, or is it just your leader?
It's just your leader, it seems
Okay.
like.
So what? It's extra expensive to give Luke Darth Vader's lightsaber, but you could.
You could,
Yeah,
but
okay,
also
so-
you don't get the on play ability where you're.
Yeah, you don't
Uh,
get the extra buff that only Darth Vader would get, but
It
you
says
know,
your
okay.
leader and base each
Yep.
provide aspect
So
icons.
up to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
you're
yeah, so that's really, really interesting. So you can put anything in any deck, but it's just going to be very, very expensive for you to play things that aren't on symbol. That's cool.
yeah.
How
So
much
they'll
more-
discourage the flavor conflict with having it be a bad deck rather than saying you can't do it.
But you can't.
Okay.
Oh man, this is
Right.
this is like
There you go.
really getting the juices flowing. Because like for me, like I think of other games where you have this card that's an inevitable win condition in say Hearthstone, but you know you could never give that to Priest. You could
for
never give
each
it to
missing
Warrior.
Right.
So
But
Everyone just can.
Mhm.
but now you can do it, and that's like you can do it. You just have to be able to pay for it. So that gets my little my
Yes.
my control juices going because it's like, yeah, I can play all these awesome aggro win conditions, even if they cost me 9 resources instead of 5, because I can last that long. I can stall out the game, and or play things that like are just worth it so much more off symbol that you'd be willing to pay some amount of premium to have that card. That is,
Right.
I've never seen this before. And this is extremely, extremely cool. I like this idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. And actually, am I muted? No. Okay. I was like, wait. Watch me just be talking and nobody can hear me. I was actually watching a video that someone had done where he opens 6-packs and kind of talks through his thinking of like how he would kind of analyze his pool of cards and how he would set himself up for actually creating his deck if he were doing a pre-release with those 6-packs. And he actually talks about that. He does find one card that he's like, I just think that this is so good, but it's off aspect, but I'm still gonna play it. And it's just that single card, so it would cost him more to play it, but he thinks it's that good that it's that worthy of being played. So I think definitely that will be really interesting, especially in these formats where you are just having like, sealed or draft style play, and maybe not as much. I don't know how much we'll see that in constructed stuff, but the format for these pre-releases is just open 6-packs and see what you got. So you might not have enough of whatever your leader and base gives you to avoid not putting in other stuff. So
I dig it. That's a cool
Yeah.
idea. Darth Vader's lightsaber in every deck. How many lightsabers did he have? I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Did it say card limit? Like, is it like 4 per deck or 3, 2?
for copies of cards,
Yeah, copies of a card.
Oh, God.
it is 3.
3.
Max,
Okay.
max of 3 copies of a card.
And it's only 6-packs for the pre-release, so there's no like pre-con that you get to build off of.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
So how many cards are in a pack?
I believe it is 15. I think it's 13 regular cards, 1 base, 1 leader. There's always a
Okay.
base and a leader in every pack, and then I think it's 13.
So that is 78 playable or 78 playables, and you got to make 50.
So you got to cut 28.
That's
So
rough.
actually, for the sealed, it's only 30. You only have to have 30 cards.
Okay, so that's
yeah, not 50.
very
50 will
reasonable.
only be for the constructed. Yeah.
That's
And-
very reasonable.
Yeah.
Universe's team, if you ever see this, take some notes. Having to make 40 cards from 60 playables is it's rough. It's tough out there. So yeah, that's a good race.
I agree too. I always felt like I struggled with that when I did like drafts and stuff in Magic. I was like, oh my god, I have to use how many cards? I don't like this. So yeah, this definitely sounds much more interesting, I think. But I think it's a really good system to use for the pre-release because it seems like a little bit easier entry for a lot of new players. It's kind of, the like initial, like nobody's really played before. I mean, I guess sure you have like the real hardcore players who have like been playing on, tabletop simulators and stuff, but there is a little bit lower kind of barrier to entry. And then everyone is going to get the starter kit that helps out with some of that. And only having to have the 30 cards is really nice. But I expect it to be pretty fun. I hope it's going to be fun anyways.
It looks fun. It looks
Yeah.
cool.
I'm excited.
I said before the show that I'd be like a kid on Christmas reading these rules and finding out the stuff, and I'm over the moon. This looks like sometimes like when I've played a lot of games and there are just a few when you like read the rules, see like the mechanics, and you're like, yes, this is for me. Like this one just clicks 100%. And even if I don't end up going the competitive route, I am going to play this game a lot. So I am thrilled to see how it is. Like it's going to be so good.
Hell yes. I agree. I'm very, very excited. So to wrap up and start our closing here, I will also just say Based and I, again, will be, can I share where we're going to be?
We will be at
promote it.
Dragon Egg Games in Billings, Montana.
That's all right.
I mean,
So
they said we have to share the shop if you want to post videos. So
yeah, true. And I will be. They did give me permission to record, so I'm going to be trying to record some stuff and show some of that stuff off. So look forward to those. But yeah, if anybody is in the area, we'll be in Billings, like they said, at Dragon Egg Games. So if you're close by, stop in. And if you're not in that area, but you're going to another pre-release, we'd love to hear how it goes for you. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do our closing. I think, Ron, are you taking us out this time?
Yes, I think I'm up. All right. So that was our little recap of Star Wars Unlimited, and I gotta echo Dankest's sentiments about this game. It's rare that like we talk about some like physical card games that I would actually be interested in. This is one of them that kind of has my interest, and well, maybe a little bit because Star Wars. But anyway, that was our topic for this week, and thank you everyone for joining us this week. If you or someone you know would be interested in joining us, please reach out to us. You can email us at tccgroundtable@protonmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at TCCG Roundtable. Use our top pinned tweet for a link to our Discord, or you can use the link in the description or show notes. You can also check out the video version at youtube.com/c/dragonridertccg. And you can find us everywhere you can find audio podcasts. Also, if you would like to help support us directly while getting some sweet merch like play mats and other card game accessories, you can use our Inked Gaming affiliate, where we have the link available for you to click on. And you can also find us individually. Let's start, I guess, in order of appearance on screen. So, Dragon Rider, where can they find you?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at DawnieDK, DAWNIEDK. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube, dragonrider TCCG, and talking all things standard Hearthstone on the Dr. 3HS podcast.
Perfect. And Based, where can everyone find you?
I am on Twitter at basedinc, and it's probably the only place that in Discord where I'm also basedinc. But you'll
Sweet.
probably see me in Discord before you see me on Twitter or anywhere else.
Understandable. Yeah. We don't need to comment too much on Twitter. We'll move on. Dankest, where can everyone find you?
Unfortunately, you can find me in Ohio, but on the internet, you can find me at twitter.com/daddankest, on Discord as DankestDad, or on YouTube at DankestDad4795.
Awesome. And you can find me individually at Ron_HS on Twitter. And you can find me streaming on Twitch every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 7 p.m. Eastern at RonMexico HS. That is our show. Thank you again, everyone. And we will see you at the roundtable.
It is pig straight to Hot Angel, by the way.
That's amazing. Of course it is.
Best closeout.
Pegasus. You have options.
Wow.